Hey, public speaking class, Christina here. Now, have you been watching the presidential debates or paying attention to them? You may notice that one of the big issues of the 2024 presidential debates is student loan debt and forgiveness. Now, Biden just got called out for being ill-equipped to lead this nation with re-election. I also believe his arguments for debt forgiveness is also ill-equipped for our society. Let's look at numbers. 2024 of April, $1.75 trillion in student loans. $1.75 trillion. Wow, that's substantial. No wonder it's a huge controversy in political circles. Now, I argue that debt forgiveness should be outright denied and rejected because we need to uphold the law and the values of responsibility in our citizenship. We need to be responsible for our economic decisions. Look, if you don't have the money to go to school, then don't go. Look at my uncle. He dropped out of high school and he's a millionaire. And to think what could happen to that $1.75 trillion that should be part of our economy. So let's look at the law where it starts. 1976, this prohibited individuals with student loans to claim bankruptcy. And then in 2005, it was reinstated again by law, which included private loans. And then even most recently, in 2023 with the Supreme Court, there was a decision made that individual citizens need to be responsible for their financial situation, essentially. Look, it's the law, people. Why are we questioning this? There's no get out of jail free card with Monopoly. This is not the game of Monopoly. This is our Constitution to protect our freedoms. No, we want fairness in our society. Is it fair to have individuals that overstretch their financial capability to go to college? And to those without student debt who still may struggle financially? That seems unfair to me. And it's not fair to the people who've already paid off their debt or don't have any. Look, it's 20% that's a minority of the population that has debt. And in 2020, there was a survey that found 46% of Americans to believe student loan forgiveness to be unfair to those who've already paid off their loans. And 39% believe it's unfair to those who have their loans. That's 85% of the population that thinks we should not forgive loans. Do you want to be the person who disagrees? I don't. Now, if you don't think it's responsibility of the individual, let's look at the institutions that increase those tuition rates, ridiculous amounts. Let's look at the colleges that make these costs just outrageous and make students take out more loans. It's like cheating the system. If we were to give this giant subsidy, it would create perverse incentives for both schools and students. Schools would know the government would forgive the debt, so they could just keep rising the amount of costs. And then maybe students will just keep taking out more loans, cheating the system. So basically, that's not going to work. And you know what? Forgiveness really only helps the privileged because it's those who already have high degrees like masters and PhDs. They have more money so they can more likely pay for it. So really, this forgiveness would only help the privileged. Now, in conclusion, I want to say financial student loans should be continued to be upheld and not be forgiven. It's the law and it must be repaid. People need to be responsible for their own decisions. Forgiveness will only help those who are privileged, and really it's the institutions that are cheating the system. So if we take away the debt owed, then we will lose $1.75 trillion in funding. Where does that money go? Our education system will decline, ultimately impacting our futures for our children. Our roads and infrastructure will not be able to be maintained, resulting in chaos and malfunctioning. And the high quality of life that we cherish in this country will just quickly deteriorate into struggle and insecurity. Now, do you want that? Do you really want to sacrifice all your own hard work and responsibility in your own financial situation to that of a minority of those who aren't responsible? Look, here are your options. You either let the government forgive 43 million people who don't know how to take responsibility for their money and how they use it, while actively choosing to diminish your own comforts and freedoms? Or not? Or have these people be responsible for their debt and their choices? The answer is up to you.